Welcome and hello to the channel, and today I wanted to do a different type of video. I'm going to be doing a tier list video of which DBD killers I think I could beat in a fight. And obviously this idea is silly, right? It's not so much really about who I could actually beat, because let's be honest, 70% of people are losing to most killers. It's like it doesn't really matter how tough you are. You're not really ready to fight somebody that's like a complete psychopath, like Clown or like Doctor or something, you know? But with that being said, I did want to take this topic a little bit more seriously than other people have. I've never really been in a fight before. I'm just not that kind of person. I don't really get into that kind of trouble, and I didn't in school either, right? So I've never been in a fight before, and that actually does make a big difference, because even if somebody's been in a fight one time, they'll have a lot more experience with stuff like this than somebody who's never been in a fight once, right? And the rules of this are basically that they're gonna have weapons. I feel like if a lot of the killers didn't have weapons, it would change them way too drastically, right? Like, let's just say, for example, if Pig didn't have the little wrist blade. I mean, it's obviously not going to go all that well for her, right? I thought for the sake of it, I guess this isn't really so much of like a who would I beat in a fight, but like, which killer do you have the best chance of surviving, you know, in a kind of like realistic situation, right? And they're gonna have their weapons, but they're not gonna be getting boosted by the entity. Because if they were getting boosted by like some evil god, I mean, does anybody really stand a chance, you know? So they're going to have their weapons, but they're going to be at a more like kind of realistic strength, right? So I don't know how that would really affect some killers, because there are a couple of killers that all of their power basically comes from the entity. But anyways, let's go ahead and start off here on the Trapper, right? And I think people honestly vastly overestimate themselves when it comes to fighting like Trapper, you know, because I've seen a lot of people say that they could beat him in a fight. But it's like, do you not really think about the fact that he's like 6'8"? Just for reference, I think Jeff is 6 foot tall, right? So if you were to compare that to all of the killers, right, then you pretty quickly see that most of the kind of average height killers like Trapper, Wraith, Hillbilly, they're more close to like 6'8", like 7 foot tall. Oh, and something else I didn't mention. Basically, it's just gonna be like I get teleported into some like a arena, and that's how the fight's gonna start. Let's just say it's like a boxing ring, okay? So yeah, you get warped in and you see a 6'8" guy with hooks coming out of his skin and a big cleaver. So I really don't have to say much else. I think if you were to fight Trapper, you would just be dead. There's no fighting that, right? And the tiers here go from it being an unfair fight, but because they all have weapons, right? And somebody who doesn't have a weapon versus somebody who does, it doesn't matter what their build is. It's going to be an unfair fight, right? And then it goes to fights that are more in the killer's favor, and then fights that I have zero chance of winning. I think probably unless you're like built like Shaq, you have like a 0% chance of fighting this guy. I imagine that with the Wraith, he's basically just going to be a normal guy, right? But because it's like, if he's not getting boosted by the entity, then he doesn't really have his invisibility anymore. It's also not really explained what the Wraith is. He's kind of set up like the Hag, you know. He's like some kind of like mud monster type thing with branches coming out of his head, but he's clearly different as well, right? So it's hard to tell if Wraith is even a human or not, you know? I'm gonna assume that I probably have a much better chance against the Wraith than Trapper. He's definitely not as built as Trapper is, but he still does have a big, basically like an axe or like a sickle, you know? I'm just gonna assume that his weapon is just built more like an axe, you know? And if that's the case, then that is pretty scary, you know, just somebody walking at you with an axe. But Wraith does seem pretty thin, and I think I would have a much better chance against him than Trapper. So I'm putting him one tier above. And then we have the Hillbilly. Honestly, guys, I don't think I have to argue much for Hillbilly. He's a huge guy who can run around extremely fast, and he has a chainsaw. So I don't think there's any point to even talk about it, really. Let's just put him here. And since I'm talking about him, I might as well put Bubba here as well. I mean, Bubba is basically just a bigger, stronger version of me with a chainsaw. So yeah, I'm not gonna beat that. Then we have the nurse. Now the nurse is kind of an interesting one, right? Because it's not really sure where she would be without the entity's powers. But for the sake of making a more interesting video, I'm just gonna imagine that she's like she is in the game, and she can like warp around, but it's pretty like clunky and slow, and she has a big saw, right? Now, honestly, I feel like if she could teleport around faster, she would be pretty dangerous. So because of how slow she is, I feel like you have a pretty good chance of beating her. Now, in her lore, she did massacre a whole asylum full of patients, but most of these patients were asleep. So it's really unclear how you would even fight Nurse, honestly. But assuming that she's actually like tangible, like you can hit her, and based on her getting smacked with a pallet, I would assume that you can say that she is. I think I have better chances of fighting the Nurse than all of these ones so far. And then we have Michael Myers. And then we have Hag. Now Hag is actually pretty similar to the Nurse. Not sure if she would even be alive without the entity. Although it seems like if you read her lore, it seems like there was a different kind of magic going on there, right? That she became this monster without the help of the entity, right? But fighting the Hag is pretty much just fighting, I guess, like a witch, you know, from Left 4 Dead. And if you've seen those games, I don't think you have a good chance of fighting her. Although she does look pretty frail though, you know. I do still feel like she would be maybe a little bit easier than fighting these 4 here, but still definitely in her favor. And then we have the doctor, and honestly guys, I'm not gonna lie to you, I think if I saw the doctor, I would just start crying. So I think from that alone, I could just go ahead and put him here. But even if that wasn't the case, he could still just like shock my heart and give me a cardiac arrest, you know. So I don't think anybody stands a chance against the doctor. And then we have the Huntress. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I've seen some absolutely delusional people think they can beat the Huntress. She's killed like soldiers and villages full of people. Not to mention that she's probably bigger and stronger than most people. I don't get why people think they can beat Huntress for. I guess because she's a woman, you know, and like that's kind of, I mean I mean, you know, I don't want to get too controversial here, but biology is a real thing, you know. So, but I think that Huntress is the exception to that rule, you know. So I think it would be wrong to put her anywhere except for dead, you know, because like who's, especially if she has weapons. I mean she could beat me without weapons. You know. I don't think anybody except for like the top 1% of people would stand a chance against Huntress. And then we have Freddy. Now Freddy, I'm just gonna assume that he's not in the dream world, but because if he was in the dream world, that's not really all that, you know. I mean, I don't know. If you watch the movies, it's super unclear what even, you know, it's like it's super unclear how to even fight him. In the first movie, all she had to do was not be afraid of him, and he turned into little blue dust or whatever. But basically, we're just gonna act like this is not Freddy. This is Sharp Hand Joe. So we have an old guy with finger knives, right? And I think I stand a pretty good chance against Freddy if that is the case, right? And then we have the pig. Now the pig is somebody I think is really underestimated in terms of how good she could be in a fight. That wrist blade she has could easily like one tap someone, you know. If she were to like stab you right in the heart, I mean, what's the plan then, you know? Not to mention she kidnaps people, right? So she's pretty used to combat, you know, to conflict, right? So I think because of the wrist blade, I would probably say that she's right next to Wraith in terms of how dangerous she is, you know. Now the clown is an interesting one. The thing about clown that's really dangerous is his bottles, right? If one of those hits you in the face, I'm not so sure you have a chance of winning at that point, you know. But the thing that's always bugged me about that, right, is that in a realistic fight, he wouldn't be able to really get that off. It's a big cloud of gas, right? What's to stop it from getting to him? He's not wearing a gas mask, but I'm just gonna guess that he's built up some kind of like tolerance to it or something, right? That's something that is like, I'm not so sure if it's possible to build up a tolerance to a gas like that. I know it's possible for poisons, right? For certain poisons, you can still up you can kind of get your body used to it, right? But gas that like suffocates your lungs, I'm not sure about that one. I don't think you can do much about that. You know, the whole thing seems kind of nonsensical, and but because of the clown not being all that big of a threat physically, I think I'm gonna put him in the mid tier. Now Spirit, I'm just gonna assume that she's like a ghost. Now Spirit is similar to the nurse, I think, in that if the entity didn't give her power, she would just be dead, right? So what I'm going to assume is that she's just like this like ghost now. She's like an on Rio. She's like an angry spirit. So if that were the case, well, you obviously can't fight a ghost. So we might as well put her in this tier. And then we have Legion. So Legion's interesting, right? But because I feel like if in terms of a one fight, it's right next to a Freddy, right? If you were to fight one member of the Legion, or I guess me specifically, I think I stand a good chance of beating them, even if they have a knife. But 4 people coming at me, I think I'm dead. I mean, there's no way you can even beat. I think even 2 would be guaranteed dead, but like 4, I don't think that you stand any chance at all of beating 4. You know, Plague, I don't even know what to say about Plague, honestly. I mean, she's like a big lady, you know. I guess just for the sake of just moving on, I'm just gonna say that the virus would probably, I mean, the virus would kill me, you know. So there's kind of no point in really talking about it more, you know. So yeah, here. And then we have Ghostface. Now Ghostface, I think, is kind of like an in-between Legion and the Pig, right? But because it's just one person with a knife, but Ghostface definitely has a little bit more training and practice than Legion does, you know. Because Pig, I feel like, is a lot more experienced than Ghostface is. I mean, she has a custom-built wrist blade and traps, you know. I think Ghostface relies a lot on surprise and attacking specific targets that he's done a lot of research on, right? So I think without all of that, he becomes a lot less dangerous, you know. So I think I would put him probably next to Freddy, although he could easily be in a killer favorite as well. Then we have Demogorgon. Yeah, I'm dead. Then we have the Oni. Probably the most dangerous killer in the whole game, so I don't think I stand any chance against them. I don't think any human alive ever could stand a chance against the Oni. Then we have Deathslinger, also known as guy that has a gun. So I think I'd lose to that. And then we have Pyramid Head. And we have the Blight. Now the Blight seems like he would be a bit weaker on first glance. He's like a decrepit like zombie. But if you really think about it, Blight can run probably like what, 30-40 miles per hour, and he slams his whole body into a wall over and over again, and he's fine. So I'm not even sure how you could even hurt something that can run that fast and slam into a wall and be just fine, you know? I think honestly you would spawn in, he would run at you, and you would get pushed over like a bowling pin, you know? So I think Blight is probably, I would probably say that you're just dead against him. He's just too, that's too much force, you know? And then we have the twins. Now the twins, I'm going to assume that it's just Charlotte, because if you don't know the lore, the Victor is actually dead. The entity basically made a new Victor, right? So if you were just fighting Charlotte, she's a pretty big lady, and she seems pretty built too, honestly. And honestly, I feel like more than any other killer in the game, I don't think you'd really want to fight Charlotte, you know? She's more of a victim than like a killer, you know? She just happens to be holding a sickle, you know? So because of that, I'm gonna put her in a killer favorite. And then we have the Trickster. Now the Trickster is interesting because I feel like he is, like I said before, similar to this kind of category that we have here of a Legion, Ghostface, Pig, right? He's just a guy, right? Now, honestly, I think you have a kind of decent chance against him. The only thing is that it's not really all that clear how powerful the knives are. But the thing is about Trickster, right? Is that if you get teleported to some freaking boxing arena, right? And then you're gonna be like, oh, that guy over there is cosplaying as Trickster from DBD. What's up with that, you know? And then as you're sitting there thinking that, he throws a knife in your eyeballs. I think, but because of that, but because he looks probably the least threatening out of the whole cast of killers, you know, he's just a guy, you know. If I saw him, I wouldn't just start attacking him, you know. We have Nemesis and Pinhead going straight in a dead tier, and then we have Artist. You know what? I'm kind of do something that some of you guys may not like, and I'm going to assume that Artist has no help from the entity, right? So basically, I'm just gonna spawn in and see somebody with no arms and legs on the floor, and then call the police.
Call an ambulance, but not for me.
And then we have Onryo. And then we have the Dredge. And then we have Wesker. And honestly, I think I stand a pretty good chance beating Wesker. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm kind of like just as big as Chris Redfield, so I think I could easily body him. You know what I'm saying? Exactly how the Wesker fight's gonna go. I'm gonna hit him once, and then he's gonna go poor performance indeed. And then we have Knight. And now we're on to Skull Merchant. Now, some of you guys might put Skull Merchant same kind of realm as Pig, Ghostface, and all them, right? But I think she's basically just a more dangerous trickster, right? Some of you may not understand why, but like I said before, I'm not gonna spawn in, see a person, and just go, oh, I have to fight them, you know? So yeah, like before, I go, is that person cosplaying a Skull Merchant from Hit Game DBD? And then what happens, right? Is she spawns all of her drones, and they start rapid firing those claw traps at me. And then we have some more easy ones. Singularity is a like 8-foot tall robot with a big scythe hand, so obviously I lose to that. And then we have the Xenomorph. Now Chucky's kind of an interesting one. He has some kind of like supernatural strength in him, right? Well, it's kind of supernatural, but I feel like I stand a lot better chance against Chucky than all of these killers, so I'm gonna put him in killer favored. The unknown would give me a heart attack, so I'd be dead. Vecna would just, I mean, he's Vecna. He's just gonna kill me, right? Dracula.
You must be the Belmont.
And then Houndmaster's gonna send Snug to rip my face off or something. So I don't think I stand a chance against this either. And then we have Kaneki, or the Ghoul, and I don't have any way of fighting a Ghoul. And a Ghoul is basically just it's pretty much just a vampire, you know. So I don't think I can beat Dracula. I don't see why I could beat Kaneki, right? And Springtrap. Okay. So looking back across all this, I think it all fits pretty well. Pretty much most of the killers that have some supernatural power that I obviously could not overwhelm, or some other factor, right? Like a ranged weapon. The only one I think I wouldn't be able to move is maybe Clown. So it's kind of unclear how Clown's power is going to work, and I guess I could probably move Nurse and into the same category as Artist. I think just for fun's sake, I'll keep her in here. But I think that's enough of this. Let me know what you guys think about this tier list in the comments below. I tried to do a pretty realistic scenario. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you enjoyed to support the channel. But I hope you have a great day, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.